What's up, y'all? It's Jeff Lacey Jr. here with the Ball Sports Network. And one heavy question that a lot of people have been weighing in on is who is the greatest player of this generation? Is it Kobe Bryant or is it Tim Duncan? Now, initially, when I'm making this podcast, I thought I would have to make a great case for why Tim Duncan should be considered the greatest player of this generation. But I guess I underestimated the fact that he did just win his fifth championship less than a week ago. And I did a survey, and in the survey, it had Duncan being the greatest player 70% to 30% over Kobe. Now I feel that I have to make a stronger case for Kobe why he should be considered the greatest player of this generation. Both have very strong cases. Let's delve into some numbers for both of them. Kobe and Duncan both have 5 rings apiece. Now, where Duncan starts to trump Kobe is in the individual statistics, in the individual awards. Duncan has 3 Finals MVPs and 2 regular season MVPs, where Kobe only has 2 Finals MVPs and 1 regular season MVP. Now, of course, we know Kobe in his early stage of his career played with Shaq, and Shaq won those first 3 Finals MVPs. Then Kobe won the latter 2. Now, Duncan, when you look strictly numbers, I mean, Duncan, it really, I mean, it's close, but it really isn't that hard of a debate. I mean, like I said, we just pointed out the individual awards. Not to mention, Duncan has been named to the All-NBA defensive team a record 14 times and has numerous amount of All-Stars. Now, Kobe actually has 2 more All-Stars to Tim Duncan's, and he has the 4 All-Star MVPs where Duncan only has 1. But I mean that's just I mean if you really want to count those, it's really not too much to argue about. One major statistic that you have to take into account is win shares. Since 1996, Tim Duncan leads the entire NBA in win shares, whereas Kobe is 4th on that list. Now, take that how you want, but I think that's a very great statistic. And also in the playoffs, Tim Duncan is number 2 all time in win shares. That's all time between anybody. The only person ahead of him is the greatest Michael Jordan. Well, now when you talk about this, it sounds like this is why Duncan is winning 70%. I just give you all those numbers. It sounds like Duncan should be by a landslide the best. But I think one thing people don't take into account is the stability Tim Duncan has had. He has had the same coach, the same organization, and pretty much the same key nucleus for the better half of 15 years. Whereas Kobe has saw 2 of his teams just blown up from the inside. Let's think about this. Tim Duncan has never won under 50 games in his entire career. His entire career since been drafted number 1 overall in 1997, he has won 50 games in every year except for 1 year, which is the lockout shortened season, where they only played 50 games, and he still won 37. He won 37 out of the 50 games. And that's pretty impressive. But Duncan has always had pop, and for the better half of the last decade plus, he's had the same nucleus in Ginobili and Tony Parker. Whereas Kobe Bryant, brought into the league, he had Shaq, and they did what they did with Phil Jackson. But Shaq was gone after a while, after the 2004 season. And then Phil Jackson was gone the same year. So Kobe was left by himself in LA. And then he with a team full of, what he would call scrubs. I mean, this is how it is. I wouldn't say that, but that's just what Kobe would say. He said his team was terrible. And then so they had to build back up, and then they did what they did. They won 2 more rings. And then they blew it up again. No Andrew Bynum. Once again, no more Phil Jackson. And Pau Gasol looks like he's not going to return. And the team is what it is now. It's left in shambles with only Swaggy P giving it life. So, that's one thing Tim Duncan has never really had to face is adversity. Now, you can't argue that Tim Duncan is the rock. This is the stability that kept adversity from coming in. Him and Pop, that's one thing they've been good at. They've not allowed anything to disrupt the team or in. It's always been about the team, and Duncan has been the rock there since day one. If I had to choose, I really don't know. It's a toss-up. It's whoever you think. Do you like the stability and the consistency, which is Tim Duncan in the San Antonio Spurs, or do you like the sporadic Kobe Bryant, who's flashy, charismatic, is going to give you, whether you love him or hate him, it's Kobe. He's going to give you personality. He's going to give you flair. Or do you like the Tim Duncan that's just about business, who wins games and doesn't worry about all the media attention, the endorsements, and none of that? He doesn't care. He just goes out there and plays his hardest for his team. You let me know who you think the greatest player of this generation is. Once again, my name is Jeff Lacey Jr. here with Ball Sports. Thanks for listening. Peace.